want to give a shout out to someone in this video. Sister Debbie Coaching. I've known her a big part of my life and grew up around her children. We lived on the same street for years when I was younger. And anyway, she's always she don't get out much as she'd like to, and doesn't get to partake in this plant stuff like some of us do, and I guess live somewhat vicariously on this type of stuff through some of my videos. She's always telling me at Sunday school, you know, hey, I like that video you posted. So Sister Debbie Coaching, I'm gonna give you a shout out on this video, and we're gonna do some stuff today, some grafting, and hope you get to feeling better. It is Sunday, December the 15th, 2024, and my mail ran today. I've never seen it run on a Sunday, but evidently the holidays have got them backed up. And I've been waiting on a package, and the post office kind of delayed it. I don't know. I'm not saying that on purpose. I'm just saying the person I ordered this stuff from shipped it promptly, as was seen on the post office website on tracking number stuff. They showed when they picked it up and everything. So it's been a couple weeks. It's kind of disappointing when it should have been here, you know, what, a few days. So ordered some white Sapote cuttings, and let's see, from reallygoodplants.com, and Marta, is her name, the lady there. I'm not even going to pronounce, I don't even think I could pronounce her last name, but anyway, Marta, M-A-R-T-A, out of Davis, California, and got a good reputation, so no way putting down on them, but it took forever. So I hope these are still showing green when I cut. I got a scion of Delta Gold, and I ordered us one scion of Lemon Gold White Sapote, and I actually got two. They threw me in this little extra one here of the Lemon Gold, and these bigger scions, I'm gonna cut them into two pieces, and so I get two grafts out of that one. And I've already started. That first one there is going to go on this little tree here. I cut, let's see if I can find the top of it that I cut out a while ago. What'd I do with that? Well, there it is, way over there. Let me reach, sorry for the video quality. But I cut this top out of it, and then I cut a few more pieces. So what's that, about 7-8 inches, and then I cut out another couple inches to get down to where we had the same diameter of rootstock as is on my let me get this here on my scion. Got it down to where they're the same diameter, and I'm going to do a cleft graft on this one. Then I'll have to decide where up in there I'm going to be grafting the rest of them. Alright, so I cut the scion wood into a chisel point, and I just made a slice down into the rootstock, and it's fitting in there pretty tightly. Then I'm going to wrap it up, and hopefully, let's see from this side if I can. It looks like there's a gap in there, but when I wrap it up tight, it should seal it up. It should join. I like that right there. Alright, so I've got her all wrapped up, And I actually wrote on there the date, and if I can get around here to see it, the variety, but I also tagged it, Delta Gold, today's date. If you don't do this, trust me, you will forget what you grafted where if you've done several grafts. I promise. I thought I was, Mr. All That when I first started grafting, and I would say, oh, I'll remember that. But even taking videos like this, like I've said before, these videos on my YouTube channel are just as much, if not more so, for my record keeping and my for myself as it is for anyone else. But even with this, I have lost videos, accidentally erased them and stuff, and so it's always good to put a tag on your grafted varieties. So even some of my air layers that I'm doing here, I will write the date that I did them so I don't forget. Now I didn't write the variety because this is just a seedling white Sapote here, so all I'm doing is putting a date so I can remember when I did each air layer. And so I've got 3 air layers going on here, and excuse me, I will be putting some of these scions I got in the mail today on this tree. This air layer here will be its own tree from here up, and so I'll probably take up there somewhere and graft onto it here in just a few minutes. And this is the same, basically the same trunk on the tree. It's got an air layer down here, which was done nearly a month ago, not quite a month ago. It's probably forming some roots there, but it's going to stay on here for a while. But even so, while it's still rooting here, it's got 2 branches. It was 3. I took the center one and made an air layer. It's got 2 others, and I will probably graft onto both of these. I may graft 2 varieties, 1 variety here and 1 variety over here. I'm still going to have some scions. I didn't expect to have this much scion wood, so I'll probably take this trunk over here. It comes up from down there. I'm not going to graft on this one yet. The leaves died on. I'm not sure about the health of this, so I'll just leave it for next year. If it takes, I'll graft onto it next year. But this other trunk, I'm going to take, it's got 2 or 3 splits up here, and I'll graft onto them also and just leave it on here till I know they've taken. Then I'll decide whether to air layer any or all of them, or just leave them in here on this stalk. I really don't want to graft them that high up. I like them to be lower down the tree, so that's what this will do. If I graft up there and the graft takes, then I can come back and do air layers closer to that. Okay, and that will shorten my distance from the roots created here to the graft union. This tree will continue to branch from down lower, so that's probably what's going to happen. I'll use this for a surrogate tree, do some grafting, and later on cut them grafts off and plant them as individual trees along with the, if you understand what I'm saying, along with the section of the rootstock here. So this piece here will come off of the mother tree after it develops its own roots, and it'll have grafts on it. This one, and them grafts will only be, a couple feet up, a foot or 2 up above the root at that point. This in here may be a foot above the root. So instead of, like, this is probably at least 6 feet up here, 6.5 feet right here. Instead of being 6.5 feet from the root at the ground, when I cut that off, it'll then be its own tree with the graft only 6 or 8 inches above the root. If that makes any sense. All right, so one thing I do, I don't know if I showed it on that last one, but on all my scions, I try to wrap them with grafting tape, also called, what I use is called parafilm, and it's kind of a, the name is self-explanatory, parafilm. It's kind of a paraffin, what you would call wax. We used to use it in canning when I was young. My mom would make jelly and whatnot, and she would seal the top of it with paraffin wax. Well, this is kind of a hybrid of a plastic type film mixed with wax, and it will stretch to a degree. And when you wrap it around these pieces, it actually will seal to itself. You know, it doesn't have any stickiness to it, but it seals to itself because of that wax. You just press it on. That's what I've done here at the top. Start at the bottom, wrap my way up, and I try to only get one layer around each one of these buds. And when they start growing, they'll actually grow through this. It's a thin film. What it does is it keeps the stick from drying out, losing all the moisture. Just like we sweat, plants basically, they call transpire. They will lose moisture through their surface, and this will keep it in there. And whenever I cut this and graft it into the tree over there, then I will seal this joint also, and it will all be sealed in. I leave this piece here so I can cut my little wedge shape, and it'll all be sealed in and keep its moisture and give it time to heal, kind of like putting a band-aid on a sore. Keeps stuff out, and keeps the moisture in. Good stuff to have. If you don't do this, or you're I mean, there's parts of the world that don't have this kind of tape and they use other stuff, but this has made it really nice on some of this hard to graft stuff that we do nowadays. Helps it, gives you a leg up, a little bit higher chance of survival rate. So I've done all these. That's my Delta Gold, and then I've got these 3 Lemon Gold scions that I'll be putting on the tree. So just to reiterate what I was talking about a while ago, there's my little wedge shape that I cut into the scion, and all I do is make a single slice down, kind of rocking my knife, slice down in there long enough for this to fit in there tightly, and then we wrap it up. Okay, so I've got my grafts done, and I don't know if I mentioned this on this video. I have done grafting quite a few times with different things, but I've never grafted white sapote. I have air layered white sapote, which is where I got this one from. This was actually from over here earlier this year, but I've never grafted. That being said, as I showed a while ago, I put a Delta Gold scion onto this right here, and don't that look a little more naked than it did earlier? I also put Delta Gold on this side. It's pointing toward the middle of my greenhouse, and this center one that is actually going to be this here, whenever that roots, I'll cut that. This will be a Lemon Gold, and this branch over here is Lemon Gold. So that being said, once I clip this out, like I said, this will be a Lemon Gold, but this Delta Gold and Lemon Gold will be on this air layer, so it'll be a half and half tree. This side will be Delta Gold, that side will be Lemon Gold. So that'll be a two-way tree there whenever that takes place. Of course, this won't get cut off until that gets cut off. That'll come off first. Although this one was, let's see, this one was done first. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I'm talking in circles. On this side of the tree, this little fork here, I put a Lemon Gold graft up at the top. Now, I may have messed this up, I don't know. But this little branch, I left a couple leaves down here. I will put an air graft on this probably if that takes. That being said, it had a lower branch here that I stripped the leaves on, but I expect they'll grow back. My thinking is that the grafted part will become the dominant, apical dominant part of the tree. And we'll see if I, later on, you know, after this takes everything, if I leave this branch, if I'll graft more onto it or just cut it off. More than likely, that will be cut off at a future time. We'll see. So, 3 Lemon Gold grafts, 2 Delta Gold grafts on my white sapote. Wish me well. God bless.
That's all, folks.